Hello, everyone. Welcome to week one. In this week, in this module for this week, you'll have covered a lot of ground. There's a lot of reading to do, and I trust that you're on target with it. Through the week, though, obviously on Tuesday, that's partway through the week, we'll actually get underway with some of the material. I've got an agenda which I'll show you in a moment. After this week, you should be able to interpret all the key concepts of marketing and the terminology. You'll be able to appraise the differences between the various orientations in the marketplace. You'll look at the strategic steps in the marketplace, and you'll be able to evaluate information that the marketplace needs if it wants to progress with its product development and put it in product in the market. Having said all that, we're going to sort of focus a bit of attention on that very well-known clothing retailer, Zara. And I've got a small video that I want you to look at shortly. I'll send this welcome in an announcement file, and you'll see a link there to a 4-minute video. It's from the ABC, a program that was called Hungry Beast, and it gives you a quick overview of how Zara operates. It looks at their supply chains, their delivery mechanism, their pitch to the market, and so forth. And I do implore you to make sure you've watched this before Tuesday evening, because a lot of Tuesday evening's work will focus on this particular brand, Zara, and how they go about their marketing. Okay. Also remind you of a couple of dates. May the 23rd, that's only a short while away. That's when you've got to have submitted assessment assignment 1A, which is a quiz. And you've also got to be well underway with assessment 2, which is due on the 30th of May, which is only a few weeks away. So please make sure that you're on top of that work as well. Don't forget, this is a 6-week and very intensive course. And if you get behind, it's very hard to catch up. So just keep on top of it. I want you to also remind you of a service that's available. It's called Smart Thinking. It's where you can sort of process your assessments. That is assessment 2, not assessment 1 because it's just 2 quizzes, but assessment 2 where you've written something and you can get this assistance with them looking at it. Particularly be aware of plagiarism and your reference methodology. Now, plagiarism is, of course, a problem which we in the academic environment have to address. It's basically a crime. You are committing a crime if you take somebody else's property and use it pretending it's your own. So you've got to be very aware of the rules of plagiarism. And there's material about that in the guidelines here in the LMS Canvas. So please make sure you're up to speed with what plagiarism is. If you are caught out and you are processed, some students have been banned from courses because they have just been so blatant with copying other people's work. And so be aware of that. Also referencing, don't forget you're doing a master's degree, and many of you have come to this not having necessarily done any academic training before. So you've got to be very sensitive to how referencing and in-text citations are done. So again, there's assistance in the system for how to do referencing and so forth. It's not for me to teach you how to do referencing, but it is important that I remind you that we are very attentive to make sure that referencing is done properly. Okay, now if I can just remind you of the elevator pitch. This was my way of getting everyone to meet and greet, to get to know each other in an online environment. We could spend an hour doing a meet and greet, and all 25 of the members of the class all do their little pitch online in a class session. Very difficult when we've only got 6 class sessions, each of an hour and a half long, and a lot of content to really get through. So I created the elevator pitch exercise for you to have a fun way to introduce yourself. And so there's 2 things. One, if you haven't done it, please do it. And there's a link there in the LMS Canvas to put your elevator pitch. I draw your attention to Karina Mathiason's elevator pitch. It's a lovely piece of work. And so far, if I was to award this as the best piece of work with the foil-wrapped Haig's Chocolate Frog, which is the prize for the best elevator pitch in this group, I'd be looking at her piece of work very significantly. She did a lovely piece of work. She's put an elevator behind herself. She's displayed some amazing personality. And I guess the thing with elevator pitch that's worth noting is that it's all about promoting yourself. You're a product. You're available in the marketplace. The marketplace, of course, is for most of you is a career path. Some of you I know are probably towards the end of your career journey, or maybe making a bit of a shift, but you are promoting yourself. And so, in a way, the elevator pitch was a way for you to practice promoting yourself. Okay. Don't forget the first Zoom meeting is on Tuesday, the 11th. Just excuse me while I glance over to my other screen and I'll just read out the agenda. We'll have our introductions and again a little bit of just a quick mention about the elevator pitch. And then we'll go into some talk about the discussions throughout the whole course where you've got to talk to each other online, etc. I'll have a few more words about assessments and applying for extensions. If something happens and you've got to apply for an extension, there is a method. It's pretty simple, but I'll refer to that. And then in part one, I'll do a little thing called tips and tricks, where I will actually put some ideas about how you can go about building up your references that you'll need for your assignments. I do this in every course that I deliver. I always have a little thing called tips and tricks, where I try to give students a little bit of extra value. Sure, we give you the basic content of the course, but I like to always give a little bit of extra value as well. And that's where I do it in what I call tips and tricks. Okay, part two. We're going to start by looking at the concept. What is a vision? What is a mission? And what is a goal? And I've got a very good example of that. I'll be using a speech that President John F. Kennedy made in 1962, where he announced the Moon Project. It's a very good example of a vision, a mission, how we're going to get there, and the goal, to get on the moon and come back safely. So we'll use that to start off with. Then I'm going to introduce you to the marketing mix. And the marketing mix is interesting because we traditionally know it as the 4 Ps, but in more recent times, we've got another 3, which is now, so we've got 7 Ps. And I'm going to put to you a challenge to work out what might be an 8th P in a marketing mix. Then we're going to talk about the 3 themes of this week, which is the needs of the customer, the orientation to the marketplace, and market research. And this is where I'm going to use Zara, the retailer, as a little case study, and we'll drill down into that, looking at how Zara addresses the needs of the customer, how it orientates itself to the customer in the marketplace, and how it does its market research. And it's quite interesting because Zara have done things very differently. Bit like Aldi, let's do it differently. Not just provide a good product, but let's do it different. Okay, towards the end of part 2, we'll do a quick review of what we would have done throughout the hour and a half on Tuesday. And then I'll finish with another little added value. Some of you have come to the discussion thinking that marketing is all about promotion, but it's not. And that's where the 4 Ps come in. But I always like looking at adverts. There's some great adverts out there. I think it's good fun. And I'll present to you every week what I would call a fun advert. And this first one is a really good laugh. It only goes for a minute, but it's really good. And so I look forward to finishing the session on Tuesday with the advert of the week. Having said all that, I hope you will have a good Mother's Day today. But don't forget, you've also got a lot of work in marketing managers. And I'd like to remind you just to keep on top of it and don't let it get behind the work. Having said that, again, goodbye, enjoy your day, and I'll see you on Tuesday, promptly at 6 p.m. Thank you.